we talked in the last couple of weeks about this hacker named Peace. Apparently, that's short for peace of mind. I'm not sure. Maybe that's tongue in cheek.
It's P-E-A-C-E. So no puns about piece of anything else. It's
that's correct.
Peace.
Yeah,
baby.
And of course, he came in the news because he was the person offering the additional 117 million LinkedIn account credentials from 2012, which is what we believe tied into Mark Zuckerberg's breached Twitter account and Somebody tweeted me my face during the podcast when you switched over to the Well, I was like,
it's very funny.
So
by the way, I after the show went to Have I Been Pwned, and yes, my email address anyway showed up on all four. The Adobe breaches a long time ago, the LinkedIn, MySpace, and Tumblr breaches. But this was the thing that blew me away. 359 million MySpace accounts breached. Only 164 million LinkedIn accounts. So
funny, the number I had is 360. I'm
right
about
there.
to get to that.
Yep. Anyway, I just pointing out. Of course, I changed my passwords, but just because you're in this database doesn't mean anything, right? Those are probably old records. I would think.
Yes, and so he was back in the news because he is now offering 51 million account credentials obtained from iMesh, which was a peer-to-peer file sharing service started in 2009 that just shut down last month. And these contain email addresses, usernames, passwords, IP addresses, location information, and other information on users. Now, the good news is they were all hashed and salted. The bad news is, unfortunately, they used MD5.
Oh, well.
Which produces a short hash and is highly accelerated on many GPU platforms. So it just doesn't pose much of a barrier for anyone wishing to reverse those one-way hashes. All of that data, the 51 million accounts, are currently on sale on the dark web for half a Bitcoin. And when I saw that half a Bitcoin was $335, I went, what? And I went over, and Bitcoins are now like, $650. So Mark Thompson is a
happy camper,
happily cranking away,
and no longer has to pay for heat.
As a consequence of all of this, well, it is getting into the summertime, so I don't know what happened, what that does.
Now he has to pay for cooling. And there goes all that Bitcoin riches.
So as a consequence of peace of mind being in the news, Wired reached out to the editors at Wired, and posted a message in the dark web forum. It's called The Real Deal Marketplace, and said, hey, we're Wired Magazine. Would you be willing to talk to us? And they arranged some secure IMing and decided that, and this Peace person said, yeah. So we know a lot more. First of all, there is a seller rating system on this Real Deal Marketplace where the seller Peace has a 100% satisfaction rating.
He does good work, that Peace.
He does good work. A++ feedback and comments like follows up with questions and delivers promptly. So, when you're looking for 167 million user accounts from LinkedIn, this is the guy you want to go to. So he does have a growing inventory. Currently, 167 million user accounts from LinkedIn, 360 million from MySpace, 68 million from Tumblr, the 51 we just talked about from iMesh, also 71 million from Twitter. And then also there's a Russian social media site called VK.com. He's got 100 million of those. Okay, so during this conversation with the IM conversation with Wired, the Russian hacker
peace
said,
of mind, peace of
peace
whatever.
of mind.
Yeah.
Said, well, and so they were asking, like, okay, what's the whole deal here with selling these blocks of stolen, hacked, whatever?
Are they asking him why he does it?
Well, sort of like what's the background? And he said, well, these breaches were shared between the team and used for our own purposes.
Oh.
During this time, some of the members started selling to other people. The people who we sold to were selective, not random, or in public forums and such, but only to people who would use the data for their own purposes and not resell or trade. However, after enough time went by, certain individuals who had obtained the data started to sell it in bulk, $100 for 100,000 accounts, etc., to the public. After noticing this, I, writes Peace, decided to start making a little extra cash to start selling publicly as well. So then Wired responded and said, well, why didn't the crew want to sell the whole collection earlier? And Peace explained, it is not of value if data is made public. We had our own use for it, and other buyers did as well. In addition, buyers expect this type of data to remain private for as long as possible. There are many databases not made public for that reason and in use for many years to come. So Wired says,
that's interesting.
What was, isn't that? Yeah. Wired says, well, what was your own use for it? How are you able to make more by selling the data privately? And he said, well, the main use is for spamming. There's a lot of money to be made there.
So that's just the email address they're selling.
Yeah. Well, no, using their
accounts for spamming.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
He says, as well as in selling to private buyers looking for specific targets. As well, he says, password reuse, as seen in recent headlines of account takeovers of high-profile people. Many simply don't care, as he writes, to use different passwords, which allows you to compile lists of Netflix, PayPal, Amazon, etc., to sell in bulk. And then he finally said that they generally get somewhere between 15,000 to 10, and sometimes down to as few as a couple $1,000s for a list. But so really, what was interesting was that there's more going on than is revealed publicly. We're notified of major breaches. Obviously, one means is when the company recognizes itself that there was an APT, an advanced persistent threat of some sort. The other way is when the evidence demonstrates somehow the data got away from them. But then there's another classification, and that is databases that have been exfiltrated, where, as he writes, they're more valuable if that fact is kept secret, meaning that in targeted attacks, people are getting accounts breached, and that's because no one has notified them of a breach. The site may not realize that it's been breached and had all of its passwords taken. So